Imagine this. The sun is setting, casting long shadows over a seemingly serene beach. The waves lap gently against the shore, but as the darkness deepens, the sand holds secrets more chilling than the coldest ocean depths. Tonight, we unravel 3 horrifying true stories that will make you think twice before stepping onto the beach again. Ready to uncover the terror hidden beneath the sand? Let's begin. Our first story takes us to a popular beach in California, known for its vibrant sunsets and bustling summer crowds. In the summer of 2018, what started as a carefree day for the Jensen family quickly spiraled into a nightmare. The Jensens were a typical family, a loving mother and father, 2 energetic kids, and their loyal golden retriever. They decided to spend the day at the beach to escape the summer heat. Little did they know this would be a day they would never forget. It was around 4 p.m. when the children, Jamie and Lisa, asked their parents if they could explore a small, rocky cove nearby. Their parents agreed, cautioning them to stay within sight. The children excitedly ran off, the dog trailing behind them. As the sun began to set, the Jensens noticed the kids hadn't returned. They called out, but there was no response. Panic set in. They searched the cove, calling the children's names, but found no trace of them. The once peaceful beach had transformed into a scene of growing dread. The authorities were called, and the search operation was launched immediately. Volunteers, lifeguards, and police scoured the area. Hours turned into days, but Jamie and Lisa were nowhere to be found. The beach, which had seen countless happy families over the years, was now marked by an unsolved mystery. We searched every inch of that cove and the surrounding areas. There was no sign of the children, no tracks, nothing. It's as if they vanished into thin air. The Jensens were devastated. How could their children disappear so completely, so suddenly? Speculations arose. Did they get lost in the rocky terrain? Did the tide carry them away, or was there something more sinister lurking? To this day, the cove remains a chilling reminder of the unexplained. Visitors report feeling uneasy, and some claim to hear faint voices on the wind, echoing the names Jamie and Lisa. The beach that once promised joy now harbors a haunting mystery that may never be solved. Our second story brings us to a secluded beach in Florida, renowned for its pristine dunes and crystal clear waters. In the summer of 2005, this tranquil paradise became the backdrop for a tale of terror that would leave a permanent scar on the local community. Sarah Thompson, a young college student, decided to spend her summer vacation at this idyllic beach. She rented a small beachside cottage, seeking peace and solitude after a stressful semester. For the first few days, everything was perfect. Sarah spent her days sunbathing, swimming, and reading in the shade of the dunes. However, she soon noticed something strange. Every time she looked up from her book or glanced around while swimming, she felt like she was being watched. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Sarah decided to take a walk along the beach. The air was cool, and the beach was almost deserted. Suddenly, she heard soft footsteps behind her. She turned around, but saw no one. Her heart pounded as she quickened her pace, the footsteps growing louder and closer. Panic-stricken, Sarah broke into a run, heading back to her cottage. She locked the door, her breath coming in gasps, but the feeling of being watched lingered. That night, as she lay in bed, Sarah heard faint scratching at her window. Terrified, she stayed still, barely daring to breathe. The scratching continued, followed by a low, menacing whisper. "I see you." Sarah called the police, but by the time they arrived, the intruder was gone. They found footsteps in the sand leading to her window, but no other evidence. The authorities assured her it was likely a prank, but Sarah knew it was something more sinister. Unable to shake the terror, Sarah cut her vacation short and left the cottage the next day. She later learned from locals that there had been reports of a mysterious figure stalking beachgoers, someone who disappeared into the dunes, never to be caught. The beach, once a haven of peace, now held a dark reputation. Visitors spoke of feeling uneasy, and some claimed to see a shadowy figure lurking in the dunes, watching, waiting. The lurking presence remains a chilling reminder that not all who visit the beach come with good intentions. Our final story takes place on a remote beach in Maine, dominated by an old, weather-beaten lighthouse. The lighthouse, built in the 1800s, had guided countless ships safely to shore, but in the summer of 1997, it became the center of a chilling paranormal event. The lighthouse keeper, John Harris, lived alone in the lighthouse. He was a stoic man, dedicated to his duty, and had never believed in ghosts or the supernatural. That summer, however, his beliefs were put to the test. One stormy night, as John made his rounds, he noticed something strange. The light, which had always been steady, began to flicker. He climbed the narrow staircase to investigate, but found nothing amiss. Shrugging it off as an electrical issue, he returned to his quarters. As he settled in for the night, John heard soft, mournful cries echoing through the lighthouse. He searched every corner, but found no one. The cries grew louder, filling the halls with an eerie wail. It sounded like a woman in distress. The next day, determined to find answers, John searched the lighthouse for any clues. In the attic, he discovered an old diary, its pages yellowed with age. The diary belonged to a previous lighthouse keeper, Sarah Mitchell, who had mysteriously disappeared over a century ago. As John read the diary, he learned of Sarah's tragic tale. She had fallen in love with a sailor who promised to return for her, but he never did. Heartbroken and alone, Sarah had taken her own life in the lighthouse. Her spirit, it seemed, had never found peace. Determined to help, John contacted a team of paranormal investigators. They spent several nights in the lighthouse, recording strange phenomena, disembodied voices, cold spots, and even the faint apparition of a woman in a long dress. On the final night, John himself witnessed the ghostly figure of Sarah standing by the light, looking out to sea. She turned to him, her eyes filled with sorrow, and whispered, "He never came back." The investigators performed a cleansing ritual, hoping to give Sarah's spirit the peace she deserved. After that night, the cries ceased, and the lighthouse returned to its silent vigil over the ocean. Today, the lighthouse stands as a reminder of a love lost and a spirit finally at rest. Visitors often leave flowers at the base, paying tribute to Sarah and the sailor who never returned. Beaches are often seen as places of joy and relaxation, but as these stories show, they can also be sites of unimaginable terror and sadness. The next time you visit a beach, remember, beneath the sun and sand, there might be darker stories waiting to be told. Thank you for joining us tonight. If you enjoyed these chilling tales, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more true horror stories. Stay safe and remember, sometimes the scariest things are hidden in plain sight.